Look at these young animals. They look different from one another, don't they? And yet, all of them have something in common. They all developed from eggs. Some animals lay eggs. Their young develop outside the mother's body. Their young hatch from eggs, like this chick and these tilapia fries. But for some other animals, the egg develops into a young animal inside the mother's body. The young are born alive. It's the female animal that produces the eggs. But female animals by themselves cannot have young or reproduce. In reproduction, both the male and female animals are important. The male animal doesn't produce eggs, but it produces something equally important called sperms. Without a sperm, the egg will not develop into a young animal. This is also true for human reproduction. The egg is produced inside the mother's body. It's very small. It can only be seen under the microscope. For the egg to develop into a baby, a sperm from the father has to join an egg from the mother. When a sperm and an egg join together, we say that the egg has been fertilized. Once fertilization has taken place, the egg starts to develop inside the mother's body and a new life begins. Because animals reproduce, there will always be young animals. All animals die sooner or later. But as long as animals continue to reproduce, there will always be young animals of the same kind around. And yet, some animals like the dodo have become extinct. Do you know why? This was what happened to the dodo. The dodos were birds that lived on the island of Mauritius. When people came to live on the island, they hunted the dodos. Old dodos and even the young ones were killed for food. People also brought pigs onto the island. The pigs ate some of the dodo eggs and trampled on others. The eggs didn't even have the chance to develop. Soon, the dodo became extinct. The dodo is not the only animal that has become extinct. The Tasmanian tiger and the dusky seaside sparrow are other examples of animals that have become extinct. Some other animals are in danger of becoming extinct, like the golden monkey, the snow leopard, and the panda. Therefore, it's important that animals are allowed to grow and reproduce so that the young will always be around. What can people do to to make sure that animals have a chance to reproduce. Do you remember being like this? But you didn't remain like this for long. You grew and changed. We all change as we grow. We change in size as well as in appearance. Look at these creatures. They look like fish, don't they? But they're not. They are tadpoles. Tadpoles are the young of toads and frogs. These are the tadpoles of toads. Tadpoles hatch from eggs like these. As these tadpoles grow, they change. A pair of hind legs grows first. After some time, another pair of legs grows in front. As the tadpole's legs grow longer, its tail becomes shorter. It begins to look more like the adult toad. Soon, it is ready to leave the water to live on land. When it is fully grown, it will start to reproduce. So you see, the toad develops from an egg to a tadpole After some time, it becomes an adult. This adult will also start to reproduce, and thus life continues. We call this its life cycle. This cycle ensures that life continues for the toad. The frog has the same life cycle as the toad. It also develops from an egg to a tadpole and finally to an adult. Let's look at the life cycle of other animals. The butterfly has a life cycle that is different from that of the toad. The butterfly also starts life as an egg. The egg is produced inside the body of the female butterfly, and the male butterfly produces sperms to fertilize it. Then, the egg hatches into a caterpillar, which is the larva state of the butterfly. The caterpillar needs a lot of food to grow. Look at how fast it's eating. The more it eats, the bigger it grows. Soon, the old skin bursts. So, the caterpillar has a new skin to replace the old. This process, in which a growing insect sheds its old skin, is called molting. The caterpillar molts a few times. As it molts, it increases in size. When it's fully grown, it stops eating and changes into a pupa. The pupa does not move about, but a lot of changes are taking place inside. Look! A beautiful butterfly. Soon, it will begin to reproduce, and thus the life cycle will go on and on. A butterfly has a 4-stage life cycle. It develops from an egg, into a larva, a pupa, and finally an adult. Thus, the life cycle continues. Ants and bees also have 4-stage life cycles. But this is not so for the grasshopper. The grasshopper has a 3-stage life cycle. The grasshopper lays its eggs in the soil. When the eggs of the grasshopper hatch, what comes out look like adult grasshoppers. But they are smaller than the adult and have no wings. At this stage, they are called nymphs. The nymph grows bigger and darker. Its wings also start to develop. As the nymph grows, it molts several times. Finally, it becomes an adult grasshopper. So you see, the grasshopper grows from an egg to a nymph and finally into an adult. The grasshopper has a 3-stage life cycle. Like the grasshopper, the cockroach and the dragonfly also have a 3-stage life cycle. So, some insects have a 3-stage life cycle. Some have a 4-stage life cycle. Can you name other insects that have a 3-stage or a 4-stage life cycle?